right, we're now on our VIP session, and I want to start with Nikisha, because I saw some wheels turning in in that brain of yours, and I know you were on a mission. So tell me what was going on.
So basically, you highlighted all the things I've been avoiding that I need to do to contribute to our business. But with the tools that you're sharing, they're actually really easy. So it's kind of I kind of have to sit with myself and say, okay, so you've been avoiding this because it seems hard, but with the tools you're sharing, we actually are 10 steps ahead of a lot of entrepreneurs because we're able to knock it out. I actually was here and I was like, okay, how can I use ScaleNut and AnyWord to create blogs for the rest of the year? And it may take a day, but I can actually just sit there and knock it out, which, yeah.
And that's what I do. I actually have a day. I have 2 days a month for creating content. And I pretty much make it all the time. The last month it's been tough for me for a number of reasons. Um, so I've fallen off a bit, but I've got a lot of great content because still. So I have more content than I would have had if it wasn't for these tools. Now you don't need any word and ScaleNut if you're going to do just blogging. You know, if you want, I would say ScaleNut definitely for the blogs because again, it's built better for the situation. You could use a free version of Gemini because Gemini for me has replaced. I used to use AnyWord every day. Now I use AnyWord maybe once every 2 months. I use
Okay.
Gemini now. Now I did
Okay.
pay for I think I paid like 10 or 15, 10 or $20 a month for the pro version of Gemini. I think it's worth it. That tool I'm even coding with now, which will be our 2020. It'll be this much framework. We're actually going to be using that, and I'm going to suggest people if they don't have a tool already to use Gemini, unless they're already using. You could use, of course, ChatGPT or whatever. So ChatGPT could be that tool as well. Now, because you're looking at any word because of the ability for it to pull in those statistics. Now, again, if you have ScaleNut, it can already do that.
Noted.
So that's one of the main differences. Now, AnyWord's still a great tool because I used it for
Don't
a lot of other
even,
stuff. Okay.
don't even
So,
worry about it.
all right. So that I'm glad you got that. So,
Yeah.
all right, who wants to go next? Laura, tell me what's going on with you in the world of content.
Actually, I was just looking at Becky's question in
Oh,
chat. So, hi, Becky. And and you have an answer for that. So go ahead and then I'll talk.
all right. So I'm driving. I'm reading Becky's question, but I have a question. Do you have a list of AI tools you recommend? Must haves, good to have, and nice to have? I don't have an exact list. I recommend a lot of tools, Becky. It just depends sometimes on the training that we're doing. For this particular series, I have recommended tools for each part. So on the replay page, the tools on part one might be different from part two. Um, my best tool to date is the SEMrush tool, hands down.
Yeah.
It's just a very versatile tool. I think I have the Guru plan with AI, so it's not cheap, but it's worth it if this is part of your overall strategy. You can get the SEMrush tool as separate, meaning you can get the AI tool alone without paying for the Guru plan or even the Pro plan. And you may only need the Pro plan if you do want to leverage both tools. I think you may be in the consulting space. I'm not sure. Um, my other favorite tool is, from a generative AI tool, um, is of course is Gemini. It has replaced any word and any other tool. That I just love that tool to death. As a predictive tool, predictive analytics that leverages your existing analytics, there's a tool called delve.ai that we're waiting for enough people so Laura can get off my back about getting her discounted version. So we need four more people who want to use delve.ai, which will take your analytics and then use AI to do some amazing things to help you understand your existing audience and future potential. So I can recommend tools to we're blue in the face. I do need to create something like that. So Becky, I will probably look into that sometime in the future and try to maybe categorize all the tools I've recommended. Okay. Laura, you're up.
Okay, that was funny because you're like, I don't really have a list of tools, but then you named
And
them.
then I named two. Well, I named
Yeah,
the top two or three. I'm like, all right, I can't just leave her hanging.
well, exactly. But you did, I would have, my answer would have been the same as to which the most important are. And there are other ones that are free too. So yeah, there's a nice long list.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I should probably categorize because there are so many tools, so many amazing tools. It's just about what do I need, and then of course, how much time do I got to learn the damn thing?
Well, and unfortunately, Becky's not a good candidate for Delve because she has a very, very well-defined target market.
Okay, there you go. Now, I wouldn't say that. Delve is not about thinking you know everything. Delve is about understanding the audience and then continuing to improve on it. Because remember, one of the coolest things I love about Delve.ai is, you know, it groups people based on the potential. Are they in research mode? Are they in conversion mode? And it's telling you who they are. I discovered that whole section about the college market, and I haven't fully acted on it yet, but I am starting to work with the college market, and that will become very relevant to me because I can use it because of the knowledge I'm gaining from the tool around the college market and how they're interacting with my brand. I already know some key things that will be relevant for the conversation. So, there it's SEMrush doesn't make me smarter, it makes me more agile. It gives me a better use of my time because of what it's helping me see faster. So uh that would be my personal opinion on that there. So I don't want to get in trouble by Laura. I'm afraid of her.
I've never heard that before.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you have. So all right, so any more questions, any more thoughts, any more ahas? Do I need to pull something up and go a little deeper?
I'm trying to think of something to come up with because I like how we looked at the tool and basically we're getting that information again, how to be generic, have generic top of the funnel information, but utilize it within your niche. So I'm just thinking about again some of the queries or some of the spaces I want to get into or touch on to actually get more visibility in those areas with me and Keisha anyway, as far as what I was in the Sky group. Yeah.
Sure. And again, there's two things I hear here. And one is you're trying to carve a pathway, so you're trying to create a path, or two, you leverage the tool and let it show you the fastest path.
Okay.
So those are the two. I always say when people go, I want to rank for this or I want to rank for that, and let's talk pre-AI. I would go,
Hmm.
why don't we start with what Google already likes you for? Because they already like you. All you have to do is now clean it up.
Okay.
So I would look at that. And so what you could do is you could go, all right, Google, the AI tools like me for these questions, but then you could now integrate that into a niche and go, they like me for this. Let me continue this pathway, but let's niche it to this industry. And
Okay.
focus, the whole thing is I like to treat this stuff now like campaigns. Before we just did stuff to do it. We write every month. We do a different blog article. Remember those days? And
Mm.
and then next month we'll do a blog article on this, and then the month after that we'll do a blog article on that. We need to start treating this stuff more as campaigns and go, let's spend the month creating a campaign around a specific topic, a specific industry, and dominate that industry by producing enough content that we almost saturate it, but with good content, of course. Does that make sense?
Yep. Got it.
Okay. Um, Go ahead. Anybody else? Any thoughts? I'm looking at the chat as well. If not, let me just pop back over here. Let me share my screen again, and maybe this will kind of help spur some ideas. So again, I showed a number of tools here. This tool is a tool I'll be sharing tomorrow, so we don't need that. So of course we had, we talked a lot about Chat GPT, Perplexity and Chat GPT a little bit today. We looked at the Lumen 5 tool. We looked at ScaleNut. We also looked at the SEMrush tool. Can I go deeper on any one of these tools? And let me pull up the chat because I can't see it. Can I go
Yeah.
deeper on it?
I
Go ahead.
just want to add something else, Jimmy, too. As far as like with the tools, because Becky asked another question. She said, "Thanks, for setting that up. It'd be great to. It's hard to know where to start with AI tools." She said, "There's so much out there," and I just wanted to add that the tools that you've shown us and the tools that we utilize, it also depends on where we are in our journey of entrepreneurship and what our goals are. Because again, the tools have certain functions, so it depends on what we're trying to get accomplished to see exactly what tools we need to help us, you know? That's what I was thinking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that 100% correct. And it's always problem led. What are the problems that we're trying to solve to determine what tools we should be looking for? Or what tools do we have already available to us that already might have the capability of helping us solve the problem? Now, the tools I am recommending in this series are specifically related to AI search. So if AI search is the thing that you're trying to accomplish, well, now that will help you determine, do I have any of these tools? The objective of doing the training and going into the tools is to kind of give you more of a real case, a real case use case of the tools and how it will be used to solve this specific problem. So the question that you posed, Becky, really to me goes back to what's your overall business strategy? What is your annual plan? Because the annual plan dictates everything because the annual plan is aligned with your overall strategic 5, 10, 20-year plan. So again, I'm going back further and further, but when you've established all those things, then you get to today, it becomes it would make it a little bit easier to go. It's not what tool should I be using, it's what problem am I trying to solve, and then do I actually have the tool that's available to fix it, and I'm focused on that until that problem is fixed. For us, content marketing is a key component to our strategy for the next year. So, and AI search in general is such a great opportunity because people are still kind of sleeping on it. So for us, it can become a tremendous advantage. So we're taking advantage of it. So this is where at the moment I spend a good majority of my time is around this topic and tools that help me with this specific problem because that solves so many other great other problems for me. So that's how I would look at it, and just um, do a check, do an audit of all the tools you have available to you and what those tools are meant to be, how they're supposed to help you, so you can kind of see, you know, just get a snapshot of the tools you have in your toolkit, in your tech stack. Start there and get some clarity around it that way. So I hope that answered kind of the question or the point that you were making out there. Um, but yeah, so like this audit tool, I think is an amazing tool, and so I've started doing this. And just to give you an example of how this content audit tool works, let me just come over here to Content Optimizer. So this tool is connected to my website. So that's how it is literally pulling my blogs directly for me. If I click on Show URL, I can see the actual blog that it's creating. But let's say I don't have my site connected, then I would just go to Content Optimizer. And this is different than writing an article from scratch. What I would do then is I'm just gonna go to a standard website. So let me just, mind if I use your website, Corey and Nikisha? Okay, so I'm gonna go to Alexander Sky Group. Alexander. I'm just gonna pull one of your blog articles. And this is another way that you could use the scale nut tool because it has many uses. Look at those photos. Nice job. All right. Let's do this. Let's do this. Hiring and retaining talent in a competitive market. Okay. So I'm going to grab this URL. So it's 3 minutes. It says this article would take 3 minutes to write. So let's grab this, Command C, and let's go over to ScaleNut. So I'm going to drop that URL in, and now I got to determine. Remember, I said don't focus on keywords, but we still need keywords. So our main keyword, it looks like here, is about. Would you say it's more hiring talent or retaining talent, Corey or Nikisha?
You said what I call it more of a
The keyword. What's the main keyword you're trying to go for? Because hiring and retaining talent is too long of a keyword. It's a long tail. I need a short keyword to base the entire article on. So it's either going to be hiring talent or retaining talent.
Retaining talent.
Okay, so retaining. Now, what I could do, now you can see it's giving me all this other stuff, but it's long-tailed. I don't want it long-tailed. I want the root keyword. So I'm going to go and keep that. Now, I could add a secondary keyword. So I could add hiring talent as well. So let's just do that. Hiring. And now I can choose, I wanted to analyze the top 10, the top 20, the top 30. I'm usually going for the juggler, so I'm going for top 10. Okay. Here now you can determine where in the country, where in the world you want this to rank.
Okay.
So we're in the United States, so I can go. I know you're in New Jersey, so I can go. I want this to be local to Jersey, or I want it to be local to the state of Jersey. I want it to be local. I want it to be New York, or I want it to be all of the country. So I can get very specific to how this article should be represented, so it shows up in the right places.
Okay.
Even down to the city. So you guys operate on a national scale, right?
Well, we're on the East Coast, but yes, that's the goal.
So we're going to choose United States. So we want it to be relevant across the entire United States, which means we won't use states in the content. So now I chose that. So again, it's going to take this and it's going to analyze this and go, how well is this article optimized for this main keyword and this secondary keyword, and give me a content score. So that's step one. So let's optimize. Give it a second. So it's scanning AI and SERPs, generating the prompt library, because now this is new. They recently upgraded the tool to address the AI. So again, all of your tools, and this is where you might go back and revisit some of your tools, especially if you're leveraging these type of tools where they might have recently made updates. So it's current, especially if it's relevant to this topic, meaning AI search in general. Okay, so it's packing it up, packing the data. It's going to give me a score. I already know it's going to be a very low score, and that's okay because you didn't know before here. But the objective of what's this going to do is it's going to write me an article that has the ability to appear in the top 10 because that's what I chose it to be here. Okay. All right. So we got a score of 22. So now don't laugh, Nikisha. Don't laugh. It's okay. It's all good.
No, I get it all the time, Jimmy. Don't worry.
Now let's open up the editor. So now we're going to open up the editor, and this is where the magic starts to happen. Okay. So I'm going to remove all this little stuff that shouldn't be here because it pulled in more stuff than I needed to pull in. So good thing you got some frequently asked questions and things like that. So now it's saying you got some prompt issues. One found. Okay, and this is where the tool gets great. So I can come over here and click fix. And it's going to start giving me suggestions. Okay, and it puts it somewhere. So it added a section so I can go, what's the difference between attracting talent and retaining talent? So now it gives me that as a new question, or it either updated what you had. Okay, so I'm going to click on accept. Watch that score jump. It jumped from 20,
Okay.
within 1 second, it went from 22 to 25 with one change. So I'm
Got
going to
it.
click on resume editing. Now it says key terms, one issue found. Now it can't fix it because there's not enough content yet. Okay. And what I do, if I scroll over this, it's saying the current word count is 835. The suggested word count for this to be on page one of Google is 2,700 words. So we're way off. If the word count is so really, really low, then we're going to have to do some work before it'll be enough where it'll catch and start to give me the ability to fix it. So the
Got it.
meta tags. So let me fix the meta tag. So now what it's going to do is it's going to give me some, so your meta description is too long. So it's saying shorten it. So, and it's giving me 5 different variations. So variation 1, discover effective strategies for retaining talent in a competitive market. Learn how to hire and keep the best employees for your organization. Or number 2, or number 3, or number 4. So you can choose. And I'll go, you know what, I like number 5. So now I fixed that, jumped 1 point. And you keep doing that, and you keep doing it until the point where this would actually kick in. Because it
Got
needs enough stuff in order for you can then click auto optimize and it'll fix everything else for you. You just need
Okay.
to then proof it. Make sure that you like it. Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm missing what I'm seeing here is we're missing some so you got teamwork in business. Let me go back to that content piece.
Okay.
So one of the most important things you're missing is you need H2 and H3 headers. That's
Okay.
one of the biggest things you're missing here. Because if not, it can't. It's just looking. It's like looking at just blocks and blocks of text.
Got it.
Okay, so sometimes an article might be so requires so much work that it just pays to just go in and have a new article written for that and replace the whole article.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so that's where you're seeing so many issues. So it's saying the average score for it to appear on page one needs to be between 56 to 81. So we got to get that score to at least 56. And at maximum, if we hit 81, then we've got a really great written article. And this is where you can have an article rank for hundreds of keywords. One article, one well-written article can crush it for you instead of a ton of mediocre articles. But
Okay.
then, of course, that I need to also say that it also depends on the strength of the domain and other content. So, of course, there's a few other things that have to be in play. But once you've got a really well-oiled domain, then those articles really have a chance to really, one, rank well and rank sooner than later.
Okay.
So these are the things I would do to go through to start fixing this feature snippet, H1 header. So it's saying no H1 headers found. You do have one. It's just this. So I'm not sure why it's not picking that up. Let me see what it's saying. Oh, you know what? It's gonna ask to change it because we need to optimize it to be relevant to retaining talent.
Okay.
So it's giving me 16 options. So this one here I like because it starts with it retaining talent, key status for successful hiring. Let's replace that one. Okay, it didn't change much, but that's okay. We're just optimizing it for user experience, for click-through rate, for a number of things. Okay, let's go back to
Mhm.
prompting. Let's see what else is saying for prompt coverage. And it looks like the prompt coverage is, and you notice that the funny thing is the prompt coverage is focusing on frequently asked questions because this is where the AI tool is going. This is where I could pull that answer and cite you directly, even though you've got a 2,700 word article.
Got it.
For me, I want to cite you on this, giving you that backlink to your site, that
Okay.
citation. Okay.
Mhm.
So now it jumped to 28. And you just again, so you keep making these adjustments. And this is why I love this tool. I can't do this in any word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
So So that would be this. So, and again, some of this sometimes I'll pull in the client's article and I'll just like this is too much work, and I'll just use this as a reference and just start from scratch and create a new one based on this article, and then start from there, and then I'll just replace it all together because I could it could take me an hour to do this, or in 10 minutes I can just have a new article written. I'll keep the URL if it's relevant enough. If it doesn't say I need to change it because it's possible I could change it. Now, here's some things you could do to beef up that number because there's a big difference between 875 and 2700. I would come over here to gaps and gains. So it's saying it's insufficient heading detections. So again, it needs those headers to determine what's going on in your article. Without the headers, it can't tell you what content you're missing.
Got it.
So this
Got
is
it.
where, at this point, and this is where even when I'm writing inside of any word, because I'm assuming you did this in any word.
Yeah.
Did you do it inside the blog editor or just inside of a general editor?
The general editor.
Right. So even in the general editor, I've created blogs there. Always say when you write this blog, please add H2 and H3 headers. So then
Okay.
it departmentalizes it, organizes it for you, so you still have those H2 and H3 headers. Because if you don't, it'll give you just a straight block of text, which is what we don't want.
Got it.
Okay. So that would help with that. So I'm going to pause for a second and see, does anybody want me to go into a different tool or go deeper on something?
This is good.
Okay. Now, Laura, you're going to have to start giving me more than 2 and 3 word answers because you are killing me today. I'm gonna be on you today. Um, are you producing blogs, Laura, or no?
We have some. They're not great. I need to do more. And I'm going to use the when we go into SIMrush
Hmm?
and the AI where it at the bottom and it gives us the short term, urgent, etc.
Yep.
The first ones are the ones that are titled urgent is where I will do the quality blogs from.
Okay, gotcha. And so everyone here, I mean, you're all here for a reason, not because I just bribed you alone. Not that I bribed you with anything of real value. Um, what is your take on AI in this search thing, and how important do you think it is to your business right now?
At the moment, I'm more concerned about AI and when we hit what's called singularity, where the AI oversees the humans. Because Shannon sent me a what AI thought of country music song yesterday, and it was pretty offensive, actually. So I'm not sure that I want AI overseeing absolutely everything and spoon feeding us what it thinks things are. Like, I
Okay.
mean, the joke about the zombocalypse has been going on for a long time because of like there's the TV show and stuff. But dude, just look up country song by AI and see what you get.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to be asking those questions, so I'm going to stay away from that. It doesn't sound like it's a lot of fun. What I'm really saying, I mean, there's definitely going to be a lot of fear about AI itself, but there's different situations here that for this whole AI thing here. Um, and I'm talking more about other than the fact that Skynet might definitely be a thing and come after us all. Until that happens,
Until that happens, this is the best thing to hit marketing in 15 years.
yeah, I like the compactness. And again, I heard, I think I mentioned this before, where I started working with a new client, and the marketing person that they're working with said that she doesn't use AI because AI is plagiarism. Um, And I said, AI is more than plagiarism. Yes, it is definitely plagiarizing things, but that's a very specific part of AI, which is a part of a much bigger picture where AI is doing more than just content writing and taking content. It's analyzing stuff, it's brainstorming, it's leveraging your existing data to give you very unique outputs based on what you're telling it you need it to do for you and getting you to a finish line faster. There's so much more. And this is where at the end of the day we have to start looking at that part of it and leveraging that for the win because it's available to us. So that's what excites me about this potential, the potential at this moment, you know, even with the photos, I think Jim and I just launched a new Nana banana for images, and they're looking pretty dope, And remember, like even 6 months ago, you asked for a monkey on a bicycle, and the monkey was the bicycle. Now he's like BMX master on the bike. So it is evolving fast. We just have to make sure that we understand what it's doing and stay in the conversation, you know, to the point where again, I don't want to get doom and gloom and it turns on us, but I'm hoping that's not going to be tomorrow. So Corey, you or Nikisha?
Yeah, I think that again, AI, I've been I graduated in 95, right? And I've been in computers since 1990. So with this, comparing that to computers is like there's a progression, right? There's a progression with data, there's progression with the chips, there, progression with televisions from the big tubes to the LCDs now to the flat screen. So there's a progression in everything. And I think with AI, it's good that we're in it right now because we're at the forefront, or like I said, the precipice of what AI is going to look like tomorrow. We're seeing it change in real time and we're involved in it at the same time. So I think we really have a leg up as far as how we're going to utilize this in our business because again, I've seen it before, and this is just something that is definitely it's transforming businesses right now. It's transforming the stock market and how they look at things right now in businesses. So being in it and understanding what tools are out here and how you can utilize them and what they're good for, I think that's really it's going to be a boost for us because we're in it right now utilizing, but and then, like you said, the next 5, 10 years from now, it's going to be a whole different game, but we're going to be kind of pioneers of it to a degree. So I'm excited for it because I've seen it happen over and over with so many other different things in technology. So
Yeah. Nikisha, any thoughts?
I agree. I'm grateful to be in this space where we're actually exposed to AI and how we can leverage it to grow our businesses. Um, and there's a market, or I should say, a group of people that still are just not acknowledging this change and this evolution. And it's happening, and there's nothing we can do about it. And I remember when social media, like Facebook first started, I was like, I don't want to be on social media because I don't want anyone knowing my business. Same thing with Easy Pass, right? I was like, I don't want them tracking where I'm going. And like Corey said, after seeing this over and over again, we are ahead of the curve. Like we are, and we have to hone in on it. And I have to be more committed with dedicating this time so that we can stay ahead because these young people, these 20 something year olds, are coming in blazing, just kind of leveraging AI, and this is all they know. So I'm happy to be in this space where we're able to use these tools. And I really personally have to just kind of sit and get to know it, spend some time with these different tools and leverage it for our businesses because we have an opportunity that I would say 90% of other business owners don't have.
Yeah, and let me. So part of the hardest part of my job right now is trying to give you enough without giving you too much, and that has been the biggest challenge of my life. Over even every month, it gets harder because I've heard so many times, if I had known, I wouldn't have done this. If I'd have known, I wouldn't have done that. And that's just because of lack of knowledge, lack of, and so when people go, well, it's too much, I go, I prefer you to see the big picture so you understand what it looks like. So it's really about maybe I have to do a better job of setting the expectations and the perception of what we're trying to do here. Meaning this is meant to be, and I try to do it. This is not meant. When I teach or train or show people 7 different tools, I'm not telling you to use 7 different tools. I'm telling you these are options. You still have to take it upon yourself to figure out, well, what makes the most sense. And this is something I'll try to do a better job of doing. But it's my nature to kind of always try to think big picture. So it's so there are more options because everybody is in a different space, in a different place. But we have to look at it and go, I don't need that, but I like that, and it's good that I know that. And I think that becomes the new lead, the new owner, the new leader, the new person to understand the concepts because your job and everything you're responsible for is going to change. It's going to start to change. And you know, people look down on jack of all trades, but you need to be, let's just say, knowledge of all trades. I know that I just made that up. That sounds so stupid when I said it out loud. But you just become more well-rounded, So this is the thing that I'm struggling with when I teach things like this. But my hope is, all right, I got the big picture. Now I can step back. Let me look at my plan and then figure out what do I do so that it's not overload because I get it, and I started implementing the templates because of Keisha, you primarily, and then Laura and a number of other members that have mentioned that. So I'm like, how can I tie this back together and make it easier if you wanted to follow this exact plan with all of these different components? Um, or my goal is we grow as businesses and these become processes that other people have to enact, have to act on. But your job is to make sure that the ship overall is running smoothly, which means you need to understand all of these elements anyway, from marketing to sales, finance, HR, or else how can you be an effective CEO?
I don't
So,
want you to stop taking the big pictures viewpoint because even though sometimes it feels like we're getting smacked with the fire hose, if it was too granular, then some of us will tune out because we're not always focused on the little like that. So with the big, we can at least drill it down to where how for with different ways of how to use it.
mhm. Yeah, and I get that, and then which is why I can't change, because I feel that exact same way, and it's just like I have to start apologizing when I'm on stage for the first time in some audience, and I'm just like, first of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, here we go. Buckle up. But this is exciting because again, I mean, even with me, I'm finally getting into the groove of implementing the stuff inside of SEMrush now where I'm doing it regularly, which because I now it's now the time. I'm like, okay, I've seen a dip in our traffic for the first time. Some of my clients are not seeing a dip in traffic, but that's because they're my clients. So I've kind of fortified them when I didn't fortify myself. I did a little bit more than what I needed to do which was getting great results for moving forward small business, but we've lost a lot of traffic, organic traffic. But I know, but when I look at one of my biggest clients, they're still growing, which means that because again, well, everybody here has clients, and you could be the client, and you're going to treat yourself the worst, but we have to stop doing that. And that's when I was like, all right, let me put more love into moving forward small business. And we saw some major improvements. And, but then now I got busy again and then I stopped doing it. And so but now I have systems in place. I need to bring people in and go, just do this. Here's what I'd like you to own it, but I need you to follow at least the what works, and that becomes a huge difference when you start to expand, and start to entrust in others, which can be very difficult for people like us, you know. But I'm excited for it. But I think my point was I'm getting deeper into the AI stuff here. I'm spending a lot more time in this specific tool, specifically in this section, and I'm taking heed of it. And I'm like making some adjustments. What I love about what this whole session is doing for my business is how it's starting to really help me differentiate myself from massive organizations like SCORE and the SBA, which I was quite unsure about. I would just write it off as they're not my audience, they're not my competition. I understood they were, but I just wrote it off in that way. And now I'm going, I actually have the actual understanding of how I'm different, one, and then how I can be even more different in a way that it would help me bring in more business, but also help me reintroduce myself to them as a great strategic partner because I know exactly what we do that they don't, and vice versa. I definitely have a better picture of that today than I've ever had before.
And Jimmy, I just want to add to that. Again, I like the way you teach and you show us how to use certain tools because what Keisha said as far as the younger people coming in and really understanding the tools and doing what they do with the tools, they have a different perspective. What you're doing is you're giving us insight and using the tools along with our experience in the niche, which is actually going to still separate us because we still have something over people that are just getting in from an AI perspective, whether you're using any generative tool. It gives you steps and processes, but it can't give you the experience. So that's kind of what helps us maneuver and be a little bit more a level higher than anyone else that will come into the space that we're working in. So
And
that's what
that right there, what you just said is the key thing that I've been trying to get across to people where they're like the younger generation is going to come in here and they're going to take it from us. And I go, the one thing you said it so eloquently, the one thing that we have that the younger generation doesn't have is the experience. The one thing they have that we don't have is the ability to try new things because they're not jaded or set in their ways.
hmm
We
Yeah,
need to master they're gonna have we can learn to be like them faster than they can learn to be like us
exactly.
because of
Yep.
the experience. They experience is called experience because it's experience. So you
Yeah.
have to actually get it, and then you don't get that tomorrow. You can't buy it,
Yep.
you can't rent it, and
hmm
some and you and no and I can't lend it to you. So that's where yes, if we can adapt ourselves and understand that and break some old ways of thinking,
Yeah.
then we have a shot
Mhm.
and to really contribute in a great way because of our experience. That becomes the thing. I always say, well, I spoke to a group of about 50 dental hygienists once. Everybody is a dental hygienist. I go, what's the one thing that makes every single one of you different? And number of patients, location. I was like, no, none of that. The one thing that separates every single person in that room, even though they all do the exact same thing, is your experience.
Mhm.
Not your experience as far as degrees, but your experience as in life, where you grew up, who were your friends, how you talk, what you prefer to do, how you think, and where you went to school and what resources you've access to. Your experience is the differentiating factor. And if you can't tap into it, then you're just like everybody else until you figure out how to tap into it. And now, so we become layers upon layers in regards to what else can I layer upon myself to get to again continue to build the depth of me, but also make that in itself makes me even more unique as time goes by. I'm gonna have to clip that. All right. So we're at the top of the hour. I'm not sure if we stuck totally to the script. But any final thoughts from anybody here?
I would just like to say another great conversation. Learned a lot. Still learning. Never going to stop learning. And yeah, I can't wait to see you next Wednesday for the last and final.
There we go. There we go.
Ditto. Looking forward to next week.
Okay.
I like this weekly um series because it just keeps it on the radar. Like I don't get to say AI, what is that? Right? It just keeps it in the radar. So I don't know, I like this series.
All right. Well, I'm hoping to see something from uh you, Nikisha. Not tomorrow, but soon. I would love to see something. I'm interested to see what you come up with,
There you go.
and of course everyone else as well. All right. With that being said, I'll let you go. I appreciate you as always, and we have one more, like you said, one more part in this session, and uh, and then we go back to taking care of things. All right. So thank you again for everyone, and I will see you soon. Have an amazing rest of the day.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you,
Thank
Jimmy.
you, Jimmy.
You got it. Bye bye.
Bye bye.